You open a website you've never seen before, no cookie banner, no annoying pop-up about "your privacy is important to us." The page just loads, clean, fast. You think, nice, finally a site that isn't tracking me. Behind the scenes, the site smiles, writes your device's life story into a log, and quietly adds you to a profile you didn't know existed. This video is about that profile. Let's start with the mental model most people have. Tracking equals cookies. You get that pop-up, you hit accept or reject, and you feel like you just made a big privacy decision. Cookies absolutely matter. They're little pieces of data your browser stores so a site can remember you. But even if you switched off all cookies tomorrow, the internet would not suddenly forget who you are. The truth is that every time you load a page, your device has to introduce itself just enough for the conversation to work. Think of it like walking into an office building. Even if you refuse to wear a name tag, you still walked through the same front door at the same time with the same coat and shoes and talked to the same receptionist. Over time, people notice patterns. The first thing websites see, with zero cookies involved, is your IP address. That's the internet's version of a return address. It's not your literal street address, but in many cases, it gives a pretty good idea of your city, your region, sometimes even your company if you're using a corporate network. If you're at home on a typical connection, your IP might change every so often, but not every second. So when a site sees this IP visited at 8 a.m., 3 p.m., and midnight, they already know those visits are probably the same household or office. Then there's the user agent string. That's a little line your browser sends saying, "Hi, I'm Chrome version X on Windows Y," or "I'm Safari on this version of iOS." Add in your screen resolution, language settings, time zone, installed fonts, and whether you have dark mode or accessibility features turned on, and your device starts to look surprisingly unique. This is the beginning of something called fingerprinting, using a combination of seemingly boring technical details to create a kind of digital fingerprint for your device. If your screen is 1536 by 960, your browser is in Russian, your time zone is UTC +3, your system has a specific set of fonts installed, and your graphics card responds in a particular way, that combination might be rare enough to recognize you even if you delete cookies. The point isn't that they know your name, it's that they can say, "The same person who visited this news article yesterday is now looking at this product today." Modern fingerprinting can get intense. Sites can check which graphics features your device supports, how fast it draws a hidden image, which audio capabilities you have. They might look at how your browser sizes text, how it handles certain bits of JavaScript, even how you move your mouse or scroll on a page. Each of these signals by itself is not very identifying. Put them together, and suddenly, anonymous user isn't so anonymous. On top of that, there's your behavior. Even without cookies, websites log what you do, which pages you visit, how long you stay, where your mouse hovers, what you click, which links you come from, and where you go next. If you click a certain set of links in a certain order, that's another pattern. If you always arrive from the same newsletter or from the same search terms or at the same times of day, that's another layer, and we haven't even logged in yet. The moment you sign into an account on that site or on a connected one, the tracking goes from this device to this person. Even if they're not dropping cookies, your login is by definition a tag. If your email address is used on multiple sites owned by the same company or ad network, they can connect the dots. The device fingerprint we've been watching belongs to Alex@example.com, who uses these apps, shops at these hours, and frequently visits these topics. Even when you don't log in directly, third-party services embedded in sites can act as silent witnesses. Think of analytics tools, social media share buttons, video players, chat widgets, fonts loaded from a central location. When a page loads those, your browser contacts those third-party servers as well. They see your IP, your device details, the page you're on. If the same analytics script or social button is on thousands of sites, that third party can see this same device visited all of these places, even if each site individually promises, "We don't use cookies." Some sites also use storage that isn't technically a cookie, but works similarly. Browsers have things like localStorage and IndexedDB, which were designed to let web apps save settings and offline data. Tracker scripts can store IDs there. Even if you clear cookies, the local storage might still hold a unique ID saying, "Yep, same user as last time. Some browsers have started cracking down on this, but it's a cat and mouse game. There's also link decoration. That's when links include unique codes in the URL itself. You've seen those long links with UTM source and campaign and a bunch of random characters. Some of those are harmless analytics tags. Others are per user or per email identifiers. If you click a link from an email newsletter that has your unique code in it, the site can log this anonymous visitor is the same person we sent that email to, even if they never set a cookie. Now put all of this together: IP address, device fingerprint, behavior patterns, logins, embedded third parties, link codes. None of them require setting a traditional cookie. Yet they quite easily allow a company to say, this is probably the same person across multiple visits, multiple sites, and multiple days. Why do they do this? Some reasons are useful, some are creepy, some are outright risky. On the useful side, sites need to know basic things to function. They need to know which language to show you. They need to know how to format pages for your screen. Security systems use IPS and device fingerprints to spot strange logins. You usually log in from Germany on this laptop. Why is someone from Brazil on an iPhone suddenly entering your password? Fraud prevention tools look for weird patterns in logins and payments to stop stolen cards from being abused. On the creepy side, ad networks and data brokers want to build detailed profiles to sell targeted advertising, risk scores, or audience segments. They might categorize you silently as high-value frequent traveler, crypto-interested tech user, new parent, likely to switch mortgage, low credit risk, or high fraud risk based on what you browse, where from, and how often. You never see these labels, but they can affect which offers you see, which prices you get, and whether some services quietly decide you're not worth the hassle. On the risky side, poor security around this data can leak patterns that attackers exploit. If someone can see that this IP with this fingerprint always logs into this bank site at 9 a.m., they might time attacks accordingly. If a breach at one company exposes your browsing profile tied to a hashed email, another company might use that to enrich their own data on you. None of this requires cookies in the traditional sense. This has reputation implications too. Think about content moderation, ban evasion, and fraud detection. Platforms use IPs and fingerprints to recognize repeat offenders and ban evaders. That's good when it pushes away spammers and harassers. It's bad when innocent people share a network with a toxic user or inherit an IP previously used by a scammer. Suddenly, the system treats them with suspicion because the device or connection looks like someone it doesn't trust. If you work in a sensitive field or run a business, you may also care about what your behavior says about you, visiting competitor sites, reading certain topics, logging into test environments, checking your own name. These leave traces. Even without cookies, there's a trail that could be analyzed by someone who has access to enough logs. So what can you actually do without becoming a full-time ghost? First, lower your expectations of what no cookies means. A site that doesn't show a cookie banner is not automatically a privacy saint. It may just rely more on other methods. Or it may be in a jurisdiction where that banner isn't required for the things it does. The banner isn't the privacy, it's just the law's way of nagging you about one specific tool. Second, be mindful of when you log in and where you reuse accounts. Every time you use login with Google or login with Facebook, you're linking that activity to those identities. That might be convenient and safe in some contexts. In others, you might prefer a separate account with a different email. Segmenting your digital life into, this is tied to my real identity, and this is more generic, can help reduce how much of your behavior funnels into a single mega profile. Third, consider using tools that limit fingerprinting and tracking. Some browsers now include stronger anti-fingerprinting features by default. Some offer privacy modes that do more than just clear history. Content blockers can stop many third-party scripts and trackers from loading in the first place. A VPN can hide your real IP from the websites you visit, although it doesn't fix everything. You're essentially saying, I'd rather share this front door with a lot of people than have one door that always screams, me. None of these tools make you invisible, but they raise the effort required to single you out. Fourth, pay attention to link decorations. If you're sharing links publicly and you don't want to leak your personal tracking codes, Strip out the long tail of parameters after the question mark when you copy and paste them. If you're hyper-aware, you can open newsletters in a browser and copy the clean links instead of clicking directly. This doesn't stop sites from tracking their own visitors, but it stops your personal newsletter ID from being attached to someone else's visit. Fifth, understand that your behavior is part of your fingerprint. If you always use the same device, at the same resolution, in the same time zone, from the same network, with the same set of extensions and fonts, you're easier to recognize. You don't need to intentionally be chaotic, but knowing that private browsing mode doesn't magically change all those things can keep you from false confidence. Incognito mode stops your browser from remembering your history. It does not stop sites from recognizing your device. Think about your own logs and data if you run a website or business. You're not just the one being tracked, you're also a potential tracker. Ask yourself what you actually need. Do you really require deep cross-site profiles, or is aggregated analytics enough? Are you sending user data to third parties whose practices you don't fully understand? If your logs got leaked, would you feel comfortable explaining what you collected and why? There's a healthier way to approach this whole topic. Instead of trying to be perfectly hidden, which realistically is hard unless you're willing to give up a lot, you aim to be a controlled, informed participant. You know that no cookies doesn't mean no data. You decide which parts of your life you're okay with sites inferring and which parts you want to shield as much as possible. You push your own tools and providers to respect that line.